So when we talk about the Christian East, one can talk about churches, rites, or traditions. And it's sometimes difficult to classify all of them. It's easy to say that there are 24 sui juris Eastern Catholic churches that are churches that have their own rite, which means they have their own theological, liturgical, spiritual, and canonical tradition. Within those 24 Eastern sui juris churches, one can identify 7 different rites. So for example, the Armenian rite, the Byzantine rite, the Coptic rite, the Ethiopian rite, the West Syrian rite, which is Antiochian, the East Syrian rite, which is Chaldean, and the Syro-Maronite rite. One can also talk about 5 different major traditions, which the Eastern Code of Canon Law defines, Canon 28, if anyone's interested. So we have this diversity of liturgical traditions, diversity of rites, and a multiplicity of different churches. And the Byzantine rite is one of those rites and one of those traditions, and is the rite of many of the Eastern Catholic churches. Many of these 24 sui juris churches, among them most notably the Melkite Greek Catholic Church, the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, the Romanian Greek Catholic Church, as well as the Hungarian, Slovak, and other Eastern Catholic churches of the Byzantine rite. The main Eucharistic liturgical celebration of the Byzantine rite is the Divine Liturgy. The liturgy that will be celebrated today for the Jubilee of the Eastern Catholic churches is the usual Divine Liturgy, that of St. John Chrysostom. The anaphora is attributed to him, the Archbishop of Constantinople in the 4th and 5th century. There's also the Liturgy of St. Basil the Great, which is common in many Eastern Christian traditions, which is celebrated at other times of the year. So today, there's the celebration of the Feast of Mid-Pentecost, the point of the liturgical year that falls exactly between the celebration of Easter, Pascha, and Pentecost. So we're at the midpoint, 25 days after Easter and 25 days before Pentecost. So today there are special readings from the Epistle and the Gospel, for example, the Acts of the Apostles and the Gospel of John, which will talk about many different themes, about living water, about the gift of baptism, about Christ's teaching in the temple, and there will be many hymns that are particular to this time of the liturgical year, which is the Paschal season, the time of Easter. So there will be the singing of the Paschal Troparion, Christ is risen from the dead, Christos anesti, Christos voskrese, El Messiah come, that the proclamation in the Byzantine rite goes out in all different languages. What's particular about the Divine Liturgy being celebrated today in the Byzantine rite during the Jubilee for the Eastern churches is that it will be a pontifical or hierarchical Divine Liturgy presided by the heads of the various Eastern Catholic churches sui juris of the Byzantine rite, although there will also be other bishops and heads of churches from other liturgical traditions. And so as a hierarchical or pontifical Divine Liturgy, it will be presided by the Patriarch of the Melkite Greek Catholic Church, His Beatitude Patriarch Joseph of Antioch and the East for the Melkite Church, and concelebrated by the heads of the Ukrainian Greek Catholic Church, His Beatitude Sviatoslav, and other heads of churches. There will also be a moment where the unity of all these Eastern Catholic churches with the successor of Peter, the Pope of Rome, will be highlighted by commemorating by name all the different heads of these churches, indicating their name and their churches, emphasizing this unity in diversity of all these liturgical rites, liturgical traditions that are united around the table, the holy altar, the table of the Eucharist, in the celebration of the mysteries of Christ and the Church.